Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host today, and I don't know if the link there, if you guys are telling me that the link is not clickable. It shows clickable on my end. Let me try it another way. Hello. Okay. Well, Seventh Son, thank you for being here. Nonetheless, we're going to get to know one of our own today. Ha.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good.
Good. Good. Glad to see you got the hay thing all sorted out.
So could you click on the link from the chat?
I could, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just on my phone for whatever reason, it won't let me come in any other way than to do it from the chat.
Hi, Misha.
Hi. Oh, I
Hi,
love
Noise
the little
Opera.
turkey.
Hi, Seventh. Hi, you guys. So I don't know if Lord Kiss Freak is going to be here today, but he sent me a link to his interview with Tommy a couple of years ago,
That's so awesome.
his sobriety story. So we're going to get to know one of our own today.
We love
That's
him so much.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
I
so
love it.
exciting.
Hopefully he'll show up and say, "Hey, I know that guy." How are
Right?
you, Misha?
I'm okay. I've been wanting to get on and write an apology to you guys though for
Oh,
the other
why?
day. I know we need to bring it back up, but I just want y'all to know that sometimes all of us get a little bit over indulgent in our own selves, and I didn't mean to go overboard the other day. And I don't want to talk a whole lot about it because I don't want it to be on the meeting tonight.
It's
But
fine. It's fine. I mean, it's going to happen from time to time. We're people. What can I say?
well, my biggest issue was I wasn't giving you guys 100%. And so I should have not even jumped in to begin with because I was working on my project thing. I had my deadline. And so I wasn't here. And that's not fair to anybody. And so I just wanted to let y'all know I do see where I did that. And I love you guys. And I'm sorry.
You're fine. I forgive you, even though there's nothing to forgive, really. I mean,
Well,
like I said, we're people and we're going to be people in every sense of the word. Hi, Zelda.
the beautiful thing about it is we are able to do it and still love each other and not worry. And
Yeah,
so that's the
exactly.
beautiful thing about us. We're family because we chose it.
Yes, that's a good kind of family.
Seventh Son says he has the same roasted turkey hat.
I think I did that for you, actually. I did that on Thanksgiving. But I think I did. I'm like, wait a minute. There's some correlation there. But I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to tell y'all guys that. And it's hard for me right now with my eyes because I've had migraines, and I say EYE migraines. My sight's kind of going away lately, and I think it's just because of stress. But anyway, so you'll see me. I can see certain things and I can comment, but it's just like seeing everything in triplets.
Oh God!
My word!
Yeah, it stinks real bad. So, anyways, that's if you see me, I'm going to talk kind of weird sometimes, or I'm not going to be there, whatever. It's just because of that. So, anyways, I love you guys, and
love you too. Thanks for the heads up, and hope to see you again in here.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah.
And get that head unhurt.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Migraines are terrible.
Well, I've never had them before in my eyes until this last year, and I've got to get the eye doctor is what it is, but it's literally like somebody's taking their fingers and just trying to pop.
Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. So, I love y'all. Bye.
I love you.
All right.
Cool.
I would imagine Lord Kiss Freak is probably over there on the boat. I think he's a moderator, isn't he? Is he a moderator?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think like Lord Kiss Freak is a moderator. I know Steve and Misha, and there's a lot of mods. He's got a lot of mods.
Right on. Well.
Oh, I know. Aren't these? It's my fun little sweater.
Oh, nice.
I bought it just for these. It's a little too big, but I was like, I love the cuffs on this thing, so I didn't even care. It's like I'm just gonna be my fabulous self.
Right on. I posted this link earlier, but I'll BBK gonna do it again. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Let's see if we can see where the lifeboat is in their theme here. You're killing me, Smalls.
I think he should be just about done.
Right on.
He might have about 15 more minutes.
Right on. Well, we can all tune in together that everybody can see both at one time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he is a mod, but I haven't seen him today. Oh, okay.
Is also right. So let's see what we can do to connect with one another season, because this is a tough time of year. It's a tough time for me. It's a tough time for me, and I run the lifeboat. Right? You would think I spend all day, every day thinking, reading, and talking about rehab. Right? This is a tough time of year for me. So I know it's a tough time of year for a lot of other people. Well, I'm glad that you subscribed. Nice. That's what I like to hear. See that? We got a new subscriber, people. We're going to hit 16,000 today. I love being on the boat. So do I. It's an honor. I appreciate the fact that you people give me the best seat in the house. You know? I mean, it's, you don't have to be watching me. There's a bunch of channels out there on YouTube, right? You could be watching anybody you want. I really appreciate the fact that you guys come here and that you watch what we do. And you know what? You're helping people. You're helping each other, honest to God. If you could read my emails, you people are changing lives. You know, you read a comment from someone that says this is the first day in how long I haven't cried. And what did it today was this boat. And that was this morning's boat. Somebody left that comment. It's like, oh, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't put a lump in your throat, then you're on the wrong boat. Wrong channel. All right. I promise you, people, you're going to see me later again today. I think it's probably going to be at 5. I don't know that I'm going to do anything between now and then, but either way, we will see you again. Oh, yeah, you know what? You might want to try to sub again, because I tell you what, people keep saying they're getting kicked off. Hey, Christy Covington, late to the party. You know what? I was about to sign off. I suppose we can start again. All right. Hey, everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you're on the lifeboat. Yeah, I can't do another one, Chris. I thought about it, but, you know, it's 48 more minutes, and I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I always give you something to think about all day, and it makes you a better person. That is the coolest thing anyone's ever said about me. I'm not joking. That may be the coolest thing anyone has ever said about me. I know, people. Look, I'm taking it up with her, I promise. And I even got the window open, right? I'm putting up with the all that so that the cat will be in the basket, and she scurries off. She's worthless, man. I'm telling you, I'm docking her pay. It's less treats. Yeah, you heard me. She's not getting any of them anyway. All right, thank you, everybody, and I will see you on the next boat. I'm gonna cave in and give her treats.
Speaking of next boat, you guys, we are going to do a reaction video to a video from 2 years ago from our very own Lord Kiss Freak, Christopher, and his sobriety story. He gave me permission to share it, and so we're going to do that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it when we get to know each other better, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Oh,
Can you guys hear that? Can you hear the video playing? I've got a bit of a lag here. Let's see if we can get it. Okay, let's see here. Here we go. I hope.
Today's interview is going to be a little bit different because this time there is a gentleman on here who is really sort of taking the first plunge. I've already had people reach out to me after I announced what we were going to be doing to say that they're absolutely in the same boat. People, when you stop using drugs, there's a period of guilt. When you stop selling drugs, that period of guilt goes on for a longer period of time. And my guest today is Chris Charlevoix. I've known Chris now for probably longer than I've known 99% of the people on the boat. He was became a friend right after I left prison, and we were just talking before we came on the air. He was one of the people that was there when I announced to the world that I was a convicted felon and that I had been to prison for bank robbery, and he's just been a real supporter of me through that. So when he reached out and said that he wanted to talk to me about what we're going to be doing today, and he said he was wondering how I was going to react to it, and I think that's human nature because of the world that we live in, especially once you get sober. He thought maybe there was a chance that I would look down my nose. People with the past that we all have, none of us have the ability to look down our nose at anyone. You know this gentleman not as Chris, but you know him as the Kiss freak, right? He's a very large Kiss fan, and you've seen his avatar. He's a great supporter of everybody on this boat. Blessed that he's taken the opportunity to come on his story. Chris, man, I'm so here.
Glad to be here.
Okay, I don't know what happened in here. Oh, buffering.
Nervous, but
That's okay, man. That's okay. Honestly, it's that's probably normal, and the fact that you admit better, but it says a lot about who you are as well. You know what? It's just two guys talking. What I want you to do is tell us a little bit. Nobody just starts out and says, "Hey, I'm going to go sell drugs." Usually, there's something that leads into it. There's use of drugs or whatever the case may be. Just start off and tell us your story. First of all, where are you talking to us from? Let's start there.
Northern Ontario, Canada.
Yes. So
Okay.
north of the border. Excellent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how this all got started?
When I moved back to my hometown, I was in a rut, on welfare, not going anywhere, and just opportunity fell in my lap where I could make money quick.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So were you using drugs at the time?
Nope.
No.
I had played around with weed in the past, but that was a non-issue.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Well, and we hear that from almost everybody. That anyone that comes on all says that in the beginning there was a little bit of pot smoke, and so you find that you can get drugs cheap. What was it you were getting?
you mean what I was getting to sell?
Yeah. What was the opportunity? What were you selling?
Old high school came up to me and they were looking for someone to help out with them with their little business they had going. And I saw dollar signs and I jumped on board.
And was it cocaine?
Yeah, it was cocaine right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you started selling to people you knew, or what was? Tell us the story.
No, we actually sold out of a strip joint.
Okay.
We'd sit in the bar and wait for people to come in, go straight for the washroom and give us a little look on the way by, and we went and did our thing.
Okay. And this was in the hometown that you were in?
Yeah.
So how long were you working out of this strip club?
For roughly 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, if you got to spend time in a place to to sell drugs, I suppose there could be places that were less fun to hang out with. Hang out in. So when I first to sell drugs, I suppose there could be that were less fun to hang out with. Hang out in. So when you and I first talked about this, obviously one of the reasons that you're here is you realized that what you were doing was affecting the lives of some people.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how from when it started to when it progressed to to eventually what stopped it.
like I said, it was all out of a bar at first. Then it was helping my bosses
Right.
run errands across town and stuff like that. Then it became going on runs out of town with them to get more supply. And it wasn't anything like the movies. Wasn't crazy. Just a bunch of guys going out on a road trip.
Yeah, nobody was running around with guns and doing any of that.
I actually never seen a gun.
You know what? I
Not
think
in
that's
that context.
right. I think that's probably a good point too, because there are, we've got people on the boat. The largest percentage of people on this boat, have had addiction. But there are a lot of people on this boat that come here for no other reason than to support people. And I think that there's a lot of people in the world that have a sort of a different vision in their head of what drug dealers are, because we all saw Scarface, we've seen New Jack City and all of those. But it's really like you were just friends hanging out, but you were going and picking up cocaine. But so you were driving basically all over Canada?
Yeah, going southern Ontario. We were going down to Toronto and that area mostly. Ottawa a few times.
Those runs were to go pick up the drugs, and then
Pick
you
up.
guys would come back and have them all weighed out in bags, or
Oh yeah, we'd spend a couple days, get everything ready.
so. Did you watch the effect that these drugs were having on the people you were selling to?
Yeah, I've seen some of them. Yeah, the families splitting up,
Yeah,
guys getting sicker and sicker and losing weight.
yeah. And in the beginning, everybody's got the money, and then it's been my experience from being one of the users. When I first started to buy from any dealer, I was always flush with cash, but usually by the end of that relationship, I'm bringing them stolen stuff and I'm begging them for. You dealt with a lot of that as well.
Oh yeah, and some weird stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever they could get their hands on.
Yeah. So a lot of times too, these people are literally taking, I've seen family heirlooms. I've seen, the things that people do, in order to continue, especially, the drug that you were selling. When people use the term hard drugs, everybody sort of classifies that differently in their heads. But, if the government of our country were to classify hard drugs, cocaine is definitely one of them. And,
Yes.
like you said, you definitely can watch the weight loss, but after a while it has to start weighing unconscious. I mean, in the beginning it's right, people are bringing in a watch, they're bringing in this, but when you start to realize you're seeing these people literally just go down the tubes, was it that way while you were doing it or only after?
Not really while I was doing it. It was
You get caught up.
Yeah, after I was out of the life, it hit me.
Yeah. So you were in there and you're doing this and you're watching the effect that it's having on people. I remember when you first reached out to me, I said, I'm concerned about the statutes of limitations. The last thing in the world I want to do is have somebody come on here and get themselves, into any trouble telling their story. But your answer to that sort of told me how this came to an end, I guess. So you want to give us an idea of exactly what happened?
Yeah. We had one of the guys start selling to a new guy in town. Come up, work truck, dirty clothes, work boots, everything. He looked like a contractor. Doing work. Like there's lots of it's a big lumber industry town. So
Right.
He looked like he was working in the bush.
Turns out he wasn't.
And then he introduced us to him, and like, okay, this guy is cool, you can sell to him, no big deal. And found out that he wasn't that cool.
Right. So was he
was an
coming?
undercover cop.
Yeah. Was he coming into the strip club, or were you meeting him out in the?
He was coming to the club, yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like a gram here or there. It was I don't know if that the same term.
Yeah.
You use the same term. He got for an 8 ball.
Yep.
And then he upped it a quarter, half an ounce.
You know, I would, you would think, hello, plant freak.
Hi.
You would think you would put 2 and 2 together. But I mean, if you got the money rolling in, you're probably not thinking. I wish he was here so he could give us a little bit of insight on that.
I think Misha said that he might be home in like half hour, an hour. He was driving home, I think.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
he'll probably miss the whole thing, maybe
Maybe.
not. But yeah, I would think that, it's, I don't know what that's like, but I would think that you probably think a little differently than the average bear walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like when they start talking about people bringing in family heirlooms and things like that, like
Oh.
I would be the worst at this, honestly, because I would be like, no, you're losing a lot of weight. Like this is your great grandma's watch. Like, please, I mean, I just would not be good at it. But that just breaks my heart. Like, not in a just that. That's where someone can get to in their addiction process, but also from the dealer process that you just take that and you don't think about it. I mean, I know I'm coming from a total normie place, and please know I am not judging anyone at all for anything you've done, do whatever. That is not it. This is just my, I like, it's amazing how you can just get caught up in a world,
Mm-hmm.
like,
I think it's, I can't say it's relatable at all to relationships or other mental illnesses or eating disorders or anything like that. But the thing that I see that relates is nobody's able to see what's really happening when they're in it.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's always it's always different. My perspective is always going to be different than somebody else's perspective, and sometimes it's what I feel in my heart. It makes my heart hurt, like
Well,
it
and
really
and
does.
we can say that from a sober perspective. He
Right.
was
Right.
probably addicted to the life,
Yeah.
that being
Yeah.
caught up in life, probably not taking time to think about much of anything,
Right. Right. Right.
I'm guessing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting.
it is. All right, here we go.
Yeah, to
And-
anybody that's
Oh.
watching that hasn't been in that life, the 8 ball is a measurement that refers to 1/8 of an ounce. So it's about 3.5 grams.
3.5 grams, yes.
Yeah. So normally what you were selling was, would you move a lot of grams? Was that the smallest you were selling?
Half gram.
Grams?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the smallest.
So this guy came in and started buying weight and getting bigger and bigger. So he was setting you guys up for the big bus.
Yeah. And I heard afterwards that by law you have to sell to an undercover 3 times before they can bust you.
Huh.
Oh, is that right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's exactly how it
A
happened.
little different in the United States.
Yeah.
In
Once
the
you're
United
done.
States, it's all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously you sold to this guy 3 times. Tell us about the day that the music died. Tell us about the day that.
It was about 7 or 8 in the morning. I had just gone to bed.
Oh
My
yeah.
girlfriend at the time was sitting still up on the computer, and door frame went flying.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they didn't knock.
Wow.
They used the ram and rammed the door open, and
Woo.
right away they had her down, face down on the
Terrifying.
floor. They got me on the bed with the gun to my head.
Wow.
Yeah, and they sat us on chairs with cuffs on and searched my whole apartment. And anything at all.
Hi, Cosmic. How are you?
Good, thanks. Feeling a lot better. I just had a thing to say about
Good.
from a perspective from someone who's gone through not myself, but someone who has been ex-partner of someone who did the whole heirlooms and selling of tools and stuff to feed their habit. He didn't regret it at the time when he wanted to. He regretted it on the come down and after, and still does.
Yeah.
I know of it. So he didn't regret it when he was, I guess, wanting to feed his habit, but he regretted it after. That's all I wanted to say. Make coffee. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I don't know what other people feel and if they regret it. I'm sure, that's what I know from
Yeah.
my own experience.
My personal experience, I never took heirlooms to do that, but mainly because I don't have them. I did borrow lots and lots of money that I was not able to pay back, but that was my thing. I didn't have the heirlooms, so it wasn't like I was giving grandma's watch, but I still feel like borrowing and not being able to pay it back was enough to be like, holy crap, I need to stop.
Yeah. I guess that's where I'm lucky in that alcohol is a pretty cheap habit when you get down to it in the end.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
I say
you might lose a
lucky.
lot of money while you might lose a lot of money while you're drunk. While you're drunk, you might go on a spending binge or something like that, but you're not going to lose it on the substance itself.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just stay at home and listen to music or watch cooking shows.
Right.
But yeah.
You see that comment from Seventh Son?
Yes. Yeah, all you're seeing is the watch. You're not seeing the history behind it, what it means to them.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you that that's grandma's watch.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I guess
But
that's true.
I can tell you
Yeah.
that from being at the thing, you can kind of see, because they ask you where you got it from, and most people say, "Oh, it's mine. I inherited it."
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where he got it from because I would go back to his parents' house, and then his parents would ask, because I wouldn't be there when he would take it. I'd just be talking to his mum. I found out later I was used as a distraction because his parents liked me. So I was used as a distraction as he was going through the house, and yeah, the whole lifestyle is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've
Yeah.
never really gotten into. Well, one, I've got a heart and I like my brain, although I seem to want to destroy it with alcohol. Not want to, it's just happening. But yeah, I've never gotten into that hard drug scene because I read a lot of books when I was a kid. So it's just, but alcohol just seemed to. I'll tell you my story about that one time, how I got into drinking. But yeah, but it's just, once I found out, I was horrified,
Yeah.
Because if I had known, I would never have let it happen. I would have got him back somehow.
Yeah.
Because I loved his parents, and his parents.
Yeah.
I got asked one time, "Why are you with him?" And I'm like, I don't know how to get away.
Mm-hmm.
They never offered to help though. So.
Okay. Right
there you
on.
go. But I'll tell you one more story another time. I was just about to make a coffee, so you can get back into the stream, and I'll get back. I'll go.
Okay. Yeah. Go get your coffee and come back and
yeah.
And
I am listening.
Okay.
Seventh, I want to say thank you for pointing that out to me because like that's true. And when you're just looking at it as a watch, and you maybe don't really where to get it. Oh, it family, whatever. That's a good perspective. Thank you for giving me that perspective because it's not one that I would have understood. So
yeah. All righty. So we'll go ahead and start back up here.
Oh no. Okay. But so they placed you under arrest?
Yeah. When they took us to
Take you off
the
the scale?
station, I came to find out there's more of my friends in there.
Oh.
Oh dear.
14 of us the same day.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So they took down the whole crew.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, so you got officially charged. What was the
Yeah.
charge? Trafficking
Trafficking times 3.
times 3.
Yeah. 1 for each time I sold to that cop.
And what kind of time does that carry in Canada?
Like first offense like that for drugs anyways, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Like some of the other guys got a month, 2 months, 3 months and up.
Yeah.
I got since I was, well, like I went in to jail until I got my bail hearing. I got out. I was on house arrest. And during my house arrest, my second daughter came along.
Oh, that she was born while you were on
That's
house
when I
arrest?
got the wake up call.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
I'm gonna deal with my sentence and all that and get out of it. Move
Wow.
away, get out of it.
Goodness.
So,
So
it took a year in and out of courts, but I had found a job. I was working. I was supporting the sole money, like income to support my daughter. So they let me off easy. I got 90 days weekends, but I did 2 days at a time. Usually they got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I
Right.
did Saturday and Sunday only. So it took me 9 months.
of going in there every weekend, reminding you what you were leaving, right? And then
Yeah.
coming back to
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
You know what? I wish that more things were done like that
Yeah,
here in the
for
United
real.
States.
That
And like
that makes sense.
Mhm.
You know, that way you can kind of still maintain a job, you know, and things like that. I mean, that makes so much more sense than the way we do it. We just completely ruin people's lives so that there's no hope of ever getting straight. You know, when people get straight out of prison, they are working their what's off.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, and I like that, it may let me not say I like. It makes more sense to me to, like you're still paying for what you did, but you're
Yeah.
understanding, like, oh, now I have to leave my daughter and my significant other and I have to go do this, and like it's just kind of like that constant reminder, I would think,
Yeah.
and I understand. Whereas
Yeah.
if you were in prison, and you're just there, like I could see where
Yeah.
that could make you calloused or hardened,
Yeah.
or like and I don't know that for a fact, but that's just how I see it.
Well, I mean, to me, there's a lot more rehabilitation in
Yeah,
doing things that way.
yeah,
To me,
yeah, I
a
agree.
lot more opportunity for rehabilitation.
Yeah. And I think
You
that's what it
know?
should be, right?
Yeah.
Rehabilitation. Like, I think maybe there's a point where you're like, okay, but I think we should give people a benefit, because
Yeah, I do too.
everybody makes bad choices, I mean,
Yeah.
literally every single person
Yeah.
makes bad choices.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally punishing people for being addicted and for there being a supply of something of a demand. I mean, that's feeding an addiction, The smaller drug dealers, I mean, they might be part of the problem, but they're not nearly as much of a part of the problem as the overall supply,
Yeah. Yeah. Finding basically the big one, and then all the little ones. If you're going to take the little ones out, the big one's still there. They're still
That's
going
right.
to find enough
And they can find
footmen to
somebody
go
on a
out there.
dime, I'm sure. It's not hard to find somebody that wants to make a bunch of money.
Exactly.
Hello, Ben
Exactly.
Hi,
Turner.
Ben.
Welcome. Glad you
We're
made
so
one.
glad you're here. Hello. Let's see. Awakened said, I was in the depths of that world. You do get a blinder of sorts. I was one of the few people who wouldn't take food stamps for trade. Oh, okay. But I stand true
Okay.
that we fed each other.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm trying to get it to come up. It's such a lag.
Yeah.
I was in the depths of that world. You get blinder of sorts. I was one of the few people who wouldn't take food stamps for trade. Good. But I stand true that we fed each other, you know? Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I've
good.
seen the ones that did that, you know,
So they take
and,
stamps. So you what? Give them your food stamp card, and they
well,
give you
you couldn't do that nowadays. It would be a lot harder to do it now. But in those days, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Zelda had asked, do you know if this is only for the first offense? And within Canada, you actually have like 3 chances. Like you said, you had to sell 3 times to the same dealer.
Okay.
Let's say that you have theft under your belt, okay? It takes 3 times before they will consider putting you in jail instead of some sort of rehabilitation program or figuring out
Okay.
if it's a mental health problem. I can't remember what
Okay.
it's called exactly, but Canada will try and always keep you at home, but 3 strikes and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're 3 strikes, but we really rub our criminals' noses in it hard as we can and do as much damage to their personal lives as we can. And then the 3rd strike is you're put away for life, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it ain't right.
No.
Wow.
It isn't right to just completely decimate someone's life for making a mistake that they might
Exactly.
otherwise recover
Exactly.
from, you know? It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
So Awaken says, I've been a criminal ever since, even though I wasn't in the world anymore, just still owed fines. Regardless of what good I was doing, I was treated like a felon.
Oh my God.
It says, yeah, people still use them. They do half cost to stamps. Rehabilitation is a joke.
Oh my God.
I,
I'm clicking on it, and as you're reading, it's deciding, oh, I'm gonna put this thing up on my own sweet time. Screw all you.
how that goes. You know, I think, I think in a perfect world, it should go based on, like what someone's doing. Are they trying to rehabilitate themselves? Are they trying to be better? Are they, I mean, I think there are people who genuinely want to do better, and I think maybe there are people who really don't give a flip if the, like, um, it's so hard, and and coming from such a compassionate place, like just listening and looking and knowing everybody and seeing these as people that it really gives things a different light, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
They've done many a study all over the world, and they've shown that even if people don't actively want to do rehabilitation, if they just show up every day, eventually they get there. Like just like
Yeah.
I'm showing up, but
Yeah.
I actively
Yeah.
want to. But
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lower like there's a lower chance of them repeating or whatever they were doing. That's for true of recovery as well. If you show up every day and
Yeah.
rehabilitation and there's a lot of money in the criminal justice system, and that's for lawyers and prisons
Yeah.
system, and that goes here for Australia too. Like for a while
Yeah.
they were trying to put in private jails, and that I want it. Personally, I don't want that. Like we have a lot of for the proportion of First Nations people, there's a way higher rate in correctional centres than there are. That's what they call them here, correctional centres, but they it's not. Then there are others, and that's because they're stopped more and they're treated more harshly, and I'm sure that's true of in most countries that have mostly, it's a thing, and I just feel like, you know, when the generational trauma is also a thing, you know, and it carries down.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, sometimes the society around you won't let you climb out of that.
yeah, and
They're just pushing. They're going to keep you pushed in as hard as they possibly can.
yeah, and if you watch
And
enough documentaries, it's you know, colonialism has done this a lot of times, because you go over to other countries and that hasn't had the same colonialism, and you
Yeah.
don't see the same sort of issues.
Right.
So, you know, I'm sure they all have issues. There's no perfect country on the planet except for New Zealand.
Right.
But no, even that's not perfect. You know, like I wouldn't go back and live there, because, you know, even though we had really good press for a while there, we still got racism and high prices, and, you know, cost of living, and still affected. We just got good press for a while because we had a really excellent female leader. But even then, people over there hated her because she was too tough. But,
I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry about Christina Ray is an example that I wish she wouldn't have been too. And also, Misha said, I want to shout out to you, Christy Colwell. Thank you for so much for seeing us and for being willing to listen and understand. That means so much.
Yeah, I'm not able to type. I think I actually have broken something in either my thumb or here or in my ear. So I'm waiting till Wednesday. I'm going to see, because swelling's gone right down. But every time I move in the morning, it starts to hurt again. I'm like, God damn it!
Ouch.
Oh God.
Ouch.
But I'm just saying, it might heal. It might heal magically.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, it's just, there is no corrections. There's like, punishment is not correcting. Like, you know, there's a form of correcting that you can do that's positive, you know, and all they do is punish. You know, there's no, like, there's not enough counselors for even the people in publics to correct. You know, they might have one or two in one facility, you know, so it's ridiculous. So how do they expect people to come out and be better when they go in and get taught how to be worse?
Exactly. Exactly.
And if not exposed to more than what they already were.
Yeah, and I got told that in
so barbaric the way we treat that. It's barbaric.
It's apparently easy to get drugs in jail too. So I just have to fix my camera. It looks like it's going to fall off. My son keeps laying it down. That's why I keep going like this to look around at the comments, and I miss so many, is because my camera thing is right in front of the thing. So, but he keeps laying it down. So, but yeah, I'll be back.
Well, and I want to, Ben Turner, thank you all for the change in my paradigm around the drug issue and how the correction system really does a disservice to addicts.
Yeah. And a disservice to society at large, because that could be a contributing member of society with the right tools in place.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and what I've noticed is it seems like people just need somebody to understand them, to see them, to hear them, understand them, to be compassionate. And it, you know, I think that, you know, maybe that there are certain lines that you don't, you know, cross. I mean, but for overall, I think if someone could just be compassionate and there, you know, I mean, and I understand not everybody, I always kind of see everybody, there's always a silver lining somewhere. And I understand that there are some just really awful people out there. But I think that if it gets to a point and someone's really wanting help and they're really wanting to fix things, like, I just don't understand how throwing them in a prison and slamming the door on them is beneficial to anybody. That's not
anything. It's not beneficial to any part of our world, and not beneficial to them, not beneficial to us on the outside. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, or their families or anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think if somebody really wants to change,
You
know,
will, Misha.
well,
Oh,
and
she, yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we need help seeing that we want to change because we don't know. When we're in active addiction, we don't know that we want to change. Why do we want to change? This makes me feel good. It makes me
Right.
feel, like Tommy sometimes says, comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
Well, and you know, the difference that I see, I think probably the biggest difference that I see is the difference in just the way people are treated. Like someone who's not had an addiction problem, doesn't have a criminal record, doesn't have anything, you know, like someone like myself. If I wanted to go in and change something, everybody would be like, "Yay, Christy, you know, come on in." And but you know, you take somebody like Tommy, for example, that's going to be a little more, you know, people are going to be a lot more hesitant to that. And it, you know, really, like, I think if people are wanting to improve themselves, like, I don't think we should stand in people's way. Now, I'm not saying like, you know, you should, like, things shouldn't be, you know, taken care of in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just let everything have a free pass necessarily, but I think when people are wanting to change and they're trying,
Yeah,
I really think that should count for something.
I
You
do
know, not
too.
just saying that you're trying, but actually proving to me that you're trying. Like,
Yes.
I'm going to look at you a
You know, and
million times.
also it's also leaving, you know, a little bit of wiggle room in there for lapses because they are
Yeah,
they
Mhm.
are going to happen. You know, not in every
yeah,
case, but in plenty of cases, it's going to happen.
right. And being compassionate and understanding. And, you know, it's just like when a kid is learning how to walk, you know, you don't punish them and stick it back in a walker or a bouncy seat because they fall down. You're like, oh, it's okay, get up. Come on, you can do it. You know?
LPS just showed up. Sorry.
Huh?
Yes,
Oh,
you
LPS just showed up. So I
do.
was waving hi
Here,
frantically.
yay!
let's see. Ben
I
Turner,
also
I
just,
always,
sorry.
oh no, that's okay. He had a good comment I wanted to read. Um, I always thought there was actually treatment in prison and encouragement for those who tried to follow the rules in prison. Um,
Where was that? Where's I missed something.
It's a bit
oh,
down.
that was, yeah.
Oh,
Just before Misha saying you make a difference here, which I would like to address. Misha, you do make a huge difference.
yes,
I
And I
you do.
really, really hope that you can feel that as well.
Yeah,
Because I love you. I think we all love you, but I can only speak for me.
I'm
love
not
you.
seeing that. I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize.
That's okay. It was back a little ways. Um,
Okay.
so, but hey, Lord Kiss Freak, glad you're here.
Hey, Lord Kiss Freak, welcome to your show. I was saying we're going to get to know one of our own today.
Nick, hello, glad you're here. Oh, I'm sorry you've been in a lot of pain.
Oh no.
I'm glad you feel it.
Yeah.
She says, I just wanted to say that your love and support has been crucial, and I feel so much better mentally and emotionally in spite of feeling worse physically. Well, Anik, we're glad that you're here.
Love you,
Okay,
Anik.
yeah, well, hey, Lord Kiss Freak, you get to watch
Anik.
yourself.
I'm sorry you're going through that, Anik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Lord.
Shall we continue now that we have our star of the show here?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do.
For instance, in the state that I live in, you would bare minimum, you would have done 4 years penitentiary. They could have, since it was 3 charges, in theory, they could have given each sentence as opposed to running them at the same time. You could have gotten 12. See, the United States incarcerates more people for drugs, and I hate to make a political statement, but it's a pretty good of method that they used with you was a wake-up call, as opposed to putting you into a penitentiary with a bunch of hardened criminals who were going to teach you other crimes. You know, it gave you an opportunity to leave your baby, go and spend the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old is your girl now?
13 now.
13 years ago. And no drugs in this?
Nope.
God bless you, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What about your friends?
A lot of them are still in the life.
Still in the life? Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you know what? It's
a few moved away and of it too, but
a lot of them went right back to it.
yeah.
That's it's something that we talk about all the time here on the lifeboat. So I'm glad that this was the way it is. That whether you're selling or whether you're using or whatever the case may be, when it comes time to quit anything that is bad for you, in the same way that dealing or using would be, you really need a why. And obviously,
Yeah.
your daughter was the why. That was a real catalyst. Probably one that your other friends didn't have.
Maybe so.
No,
It had to be pretty intense to have your daughter born while you were on house arrest.
that was pretty interesting. House arrest at my own place. I was house arrest at my dad's house,
Oh wow.
father's place. Yeah.
Oh.
So what was it? Did the whole town you were
Oh,
busted?
yeah. Oh yeah, it made the paper. Actually, I'll be about it. If you Google my name right now, you'll find the paper clippings.
Yeah.
The
That,
news story is still there.
Was it devastating to you and the family?
They kind of knew about it
Okay.
because I want to keep large amounts of money at my apartment
Right.
in case of a drug bust. They take it away and it's all evidence.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
actually hiding it in a safe at my grandmother's house.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember, obviously bank robbery is probably something that people like more, but when news broke that that I had been busted for bank robbery, the shame that I felt, I was inside, but the shame that I felt, I remember my mother coming to visit me and looking at her and just thinking, there's really not a whole lot that that I could have done to my mother that was worse than this, and the guilt from that, it is something I still wrestle with. No matter how much I've changed to become something else, I still put them through that. It's you gotta work to forgive yourself on a daily basis. So you started watching the Lifeboat, and you started to feel some feelings for him, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. Stepping up to the plate, it's the way to heal.
And actually, as far as my sentence goes, I'm still to this day paying it because my daughter's mother was American and she overstayed her visa up here. She finally got deported a few years ago back to New York. And with my history, I cannot set foot in the States.
Right.
So I have to
Oh.
talk to my daughter on Facebook Messenger every day.
Oh.
Yeah. That's hard.
My daughter's allowed here. She comes once in a while, but it's not the same.
No.
I miss so much of her daily routine and everything.
I'll tell you what, thank the world technology is the way it is, because 15, 16 years ago, there literally would have been no contact. You guys would have telephoned. At least, you can still share that. I'm also not allowed in Canada, for
Okay.
or almost any other civilized country on the in the free world. There's a that's definitely something that follows it. Is there any way you can file any kind of paper, or is that a lifetime ban?
I can get a pardon, but I'm not sure if I'm still allowed in the States.
Yeah.
I'd have to check with the U.S. Embassy over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your daughter obviously is aware of what happened.
She probably is. She knows I'm not allowed in the States because of stuff I did in the past. She
Right.
probably doesn't know details.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. And the older they get, there was definitely a period of time when I had to have that conversation with my daughter. Here's the crazy thing: the biggest bonding moment that I ever had with my daughter, my son the same way, was when I went to prison for a long time. So that they knew obviously that Dad had robbed bank, all of that. But when the time came for me to actually have that conversation, and I think it was so good for not just for me but for her, because in my case I was just this person that and my son knew me really well. I had raised my sons. So when I went to prison, it was different. But my daughter, when I went to prison, she had no idea who I was. And when I got out and became a part of her life, I was Tommy. I wasn't Dad. I was just this guy. And much like you, I was doing all of this through FaceTime and through Messenger. And I don't know that there's anybody to now, but it's one of the things that's like the reason that you're here. We really preach this whole, you got to own your past thing. You really do. You own it. It's a release. You get this out. You know what I mean? There's no longer this thing that just sits there.
Yeah.
It's your chance to say to the world, look, this is what I did. I'm sorry. If you don't, that's fine. I'm moving on from here. And I think when we talked the first time on the phone, and you said you were, wanting to do this, and this is going to be great for you. It's also going to tell a lot of people that, I really love to have you here, because you're not what people think when they hear drug dealer.
No,
right?
you're not.
You know what I mean? You're not
so
Al
true.
Pacino or Robert De Niro.
Complete 180 from back
Wow.
my old life.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, drug dealers, just like drug addicts, come in every size, shape, kind of lifestyle. There was a movie recently done. This was in his 70s. It's based on a true story. This guy was just a mule for the cartels, and he was, driving drugs. They absolutely everything that they can, the poison, and to help sell the poison. It's definitely something that no matter what we do, it's going to follow us. This is going to be a part of your life. But I really hope that the step that you take today begins to heal, the feelings. When I was talking to you at the beginning of this interview, I asked about, the guilt of knowing that these people were living over heirlooms and flushing, their livelihoods and their, lives down the toilet. So that guilt started coming in after that. Something you've been wrestling with?
Yeah.
You run into any of the people you used to sell to?
Well, I actually, from where all this took place.
Okay.
But I still go visit family, went into one or two of the people I used to sell every visit. But a lot of them I don't even see.
Yeah. Is it difficult that you used to sell to?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Especially the ones that are still using.
Oh yeah.
And they haven't gone anywhere. Like the ones that there's some that are still using but not as much, and they're functioning, and they are kind of better than back then.
But they're still slaves.
But the hardest is seeing the ones that are still down and out in the slums.
Yeah. Well, it sounds so incredible to so many people, because you're looking at 30 years, and you think these people are still doing the exact same thing, and it's so easy to make. But when I think about it, If you had been someone that was telling me heroin, you could have disappeared 27 years and come back, and I still been doing the same thing. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the life and start to spiral out of control. Did you ever see any overdoses or any violence among the people that were using?
I haven't seen any first, but there's been some that I heard.
You knew that it was happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, because cocaine will kill you. I mean, that
Yeah.
drug will take you off the planet. It's got to be hard that, I mean, again, I'm not trying to bring up things to upset, you know, we're owning this and getting it out of the way. I mean, realistically, supply drugs to people that overdose. That's got to be a tough.
There is a possibility, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I'll never know for
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the healing process starts when you step up, and I mean, the thing is this, Chris, you go out in the comment section, supporting people, being a crew member on this boat, and never tell anybody. But the fact that you're uncomfortable doing that says who you are, and honestly, it says people who are crew members on this boat, because the bonds that we're all building, the fact that you weren't comfortable without having people know this says a lot about you. And the fact that once I announced you, I had 3 other people that said, I feel like I got to do this, says a lot about sort of the phenomenon that is starting to take place on this, you know. When you were in in the life and selling, what kind of age groups are we? I mean, I know you said that you were dealing out of a club. So, I mean, were these young kids? Were these older people? Everything in between? What were we looking at?
No, we wouldn't allow anyone of our group to sell to teenagers. It was all adults. No one of school age or high school age.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's, you at least got to respect that. And it's, I think it's probably a rarity. I know that in this country, the ID required to buy drugs is a picture of a dead president on a piece of paper. You know what I mean? If somebody's got money, they're selling to them. I remember picking up dope and seeing 16-year-olds get in and out of the car. The other thing, and I don't want to turn this into an R-rated show, but the fact that you're selling cocaine out of a strip club is kind of an odd thing. Were the girls in there all strung out on this? Was there a reason that you chose
yes.
the club?
Oh yes, most of them were, yes.
Oh,
So were you watching this destroy? You know, I mean, I'm not trying to judge anybody's kind of work, but my experience has been that, you know, the story girl that goes in and strips and puts herself through college is, it may sound great for them, but in my experience, girls who go in and strip are doing it to pay for drug habits.
yeah.
Was that your experience as well?
Yeah, that whole thing for college is not real life.
No.
Oh, you might get the odd one, but it's
Right.
very rare.
So most of the girls in were strung out on dope.
Supporting their habit.
Okay. Is that why you guys chose that as a location?
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's got to be tough. It
Even
really
the,
does.
the bar owner was paid off to let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he indicted as well?
No. They had
Or something.
nothing on him.
So you watched these girls going down the tubes as well?
Yeah. But it's not, they were there steady. They'd come to town for a week, 2 weeks, and then they'd go back
Oh,
home.
Okay.
Most of them came from Montreal or areas like that.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time in Montreal when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
So those girls were coming from St. Catherine Street.
Yes.
I know Montreal really well. St. Catherine Street is, I mean, as far as the entire world, there's probably more strippers on St. Catherine Street than you're going to find in any city anywhere on the
Oh,
planet.
yeah.
It's
So it is.
Every second building's a strip joint.
true story. And there was a club there called Super Sex, which I believe at the time was the in the late 80s, early 90s. It's 230 women, working at any given time. And I would go out on a limb and say there probably wasn't 4 of them that were not on drugs. It's another don't see or you don't hear about. There are so many industries, obviously,
Okay.
stripping, the sex industry, whatever you want to call it, that is probably one of the most damaging industries in terms of everybody in there being under the influence. I think it's probably a tough thing to remove your clothes for cash. It's something that probably requires a little bit of drugs just to make that happen. I can see where this has got to be, the memories of all of this has got to be tough on a person's soul, Chris. I really do. And what I would suggest is, in spite of the fact that we're not talking about an addiction, I think that a lot of the processes that we talk about and advise, people here, we give advice to people on how to move forward. And I think a lot of this probably can apply to your situation as well.
I think in some ways it was a little bit of an addiction, addicted to money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
I never had it growing up, and
and easy money. I have, from a guy that robbed banks. There's something about money that you don't earn that is just really, really difficult. It's when you talk about it as an addiction, as we've said 5,000 times and will continue to say, it doesn't matter what the first component is, whether that component is gambling or pornography or money, right? Addicted to the lifestyle. The second component is your brain still sending, the reward center of your brain is still sending feel-good chemicals to you for doing the wrong thing. Knowing
there's some kind of rush to it.
Yeah.
Especially
absolutely.
in a
Yeah.
bar packed with people. One night we had 12 Hells Angels in the bar, and everybody else left. I stayed.
And sold dope.
And when the Hells Angels were there was a biker enforcement unit that we have in Canada. Were there guarding the doors.
So you're in there slinging dope with cops basically inside the building. So you're pushing it and you're taking chances.
Another night, the RCMP, they were doing shows with their horses and putting on displays, and they stopped in town. They were all in our bar.
So you were there basically 7 nights a week.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So for a 3-year period of time, you spent, basically 365 days a year in that environment selling drugs. I would imagine that working through all of this, and starting to go through the healing process, I think one of the reasons that I felt the need to start this channel is because for me and the things that I had done in my past, I couldn't be comfortable getting clean and then just going, wow, I'm glad that's over. And I wanted to do something to try to make up, for some of the things that I had done, and to try to maybe prevent somebody
back
from
to other people like in your lifestyle.
Correct. And the craziest thing happened. That little reward center of my brain started to work again. And now when someone like Joe says, I'm on day 10, that little rush that I used to get from breaking the law or from doing dope or from all of the things that I did wrong starts to kick in. Or somebody leaves a comment that says, this show has affected my life in a positive way. If anybody is listening, you can absolutely get the same rush from doing the right thing as you can from doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
And that really is, I think, the takeaway from all of this is that we have a unique crowd of people here that come to support one another. And you may not be realizing, why there's such a draw. And I tell people, you're not coming because of me. You're coming because supporting one another and doing the things that we're doing right now on this boat is getting the same reaction in that part of the brain that it really is trading one thing for another, except we're trading one of the most vile things. I'm not passing judgment on you, my man, but 3 years in a strip club selling dope to girls who are dancing and people who are trading heirlooms for drugs. That's a tough way to get a reward chemical in your brain. And the fact that you know that now says a lot about the fact that you've put this behind you. This is a rear view mirror thing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you come to this boat to support people. I think that that's awesome. I really do.
Like I told you in a comment there, I might not say much, but I'm always around.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that's been my experience with you the last year too. The thing is, every time you said something, the timing was perfect, and it was always something that you know I got at a time I really needed to hear it. And that's another thing that you'll hear from people on the boat. So many times that people say, you know, boy, so and so said this at the right time. If I had $1 for every email I got that said that Chi left a comment at the right time that just lifted somebody, you can get addicted to that. You can get addicted to, you know, to being that person that does everything you can to, you know, to help, as opposed to everything you can to break down. And one of the biggest things that I think anybody can do is the step that you just took, because you're not the last drug dealer is going to come on this show and talk about the things that they did. There's no chance of that. Someone had to break the ice. Someone had to step up and say, I'm going to admit to things that I did that are, you know, that were not such a great thing. Did you ever come across anybody trying to rob you or do any of those things?
No.
No? Tell
Come
you what,
across guys trying to screw us over. Sorry for my choice of words
Right.
there. But no.
Were you ever fronting drugs to people, or was it always cash?
No. I know you can go down a rabbit hole when you start doing that.
I'll tell you what, you Canadians, I'll tell you right now, are far more civilized people than the United States. I'm not kidding you. I bet you I've robbed 70 drug dealers. Maybe more than that. When Jack comes on, he will probably tell those stories for most of them. But maybe in heroin's different too. But if I said to a guy, hey, I need a couple of bags until I get paid or until I get money, and the guy said no, I robbed him. Like, that was pretty much how it went, because I just, you know, with my drug of choice, I was going to get sick if this guy didn't give it to me, you know. And yeah, in the United States, the one thing I'll tell you is drug dealers get robbed. I mean, it is, I guess sitting in a strip club was probably a safer method than going out and doing it anywhere else. But yeah, there was.
I come from such a small town of 6,000-7,000 people, so it's totally different.
Yeah, no one's going to disappear either, right? Yeah. In a town of 7,000, where are you going to hide?
Yeah.
So were you when you guys brought this stuff in, were you cutting it?
Yeah.
Stretching it out on the stuff.
Yeah.
Thing that you know, there's an urban legend in our society that surrounds, and the people on the boat will laugh at this because they live in the life. But if you talk to people in the real world, what they love telling their kids is, if you go and do drugs, you're going to get stuff that's cut with, you know, and usually something more expensive than the drug itself. But that they were going to somehow cut this with something that was going to be. My experience is that, you know, baby laxative for heroin, it was always baby laxative that they cut the stuff with. It was rare, at least in the places I live, that they cut it with anything bad. But coke is definitely one of those drugs that gets stepped on so that you can make more money.
Oh,
yeah.
Every pair of hands it goes through cuts it.
It's weaker and a little bit weaker. Yeah. So throughout this whole process, you
know, not cocaine, no.
No.
I've done a little bit of speed on and off, ecstasy.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't find it was an addiction. I would just 1 week or whatever, someone was having a party, okay, let's go and do a few hits, and that was
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
well, the vast majority, believe it or not, the
Yeah.
vast majority of people who experiment with drugs do not get addicted to drugs. The percentage of people who get addicted is really relatively small, but it doesn't seem that way because one person who's addicted will affect the lives of so many people that everybody knows an addict, and everyone's got a story of an addict that they know, and because of that, it really makes it seem like everybody on the planet's addicted. But
Yeah.
when you look at the statistics, the number of people who, they're in our country, better than 70% of people will say that they, experimented with drugs, but nowhere near 70%, of these people get addicted. There really is something that happens in the brain of the addict that is just plain different, and that. For you, that doesn't throw that switch, but apparently money and the lifestyle did.
But even back when I was in high school, I dabbled with weed, and it wasn't an issue.
Right.
If I didn't have it, it wasn't a big deal. The only thing is, thank you, Tommy.
Yeah.
The vape, that nicotine is a hard one.
Yeah. Well, there's no question.
Yeah.
I relapsed on it. It's it's a terrible thing. So the money that you were stashing in this safe, did they end up getting any of that, or?
Nope.
Oh,
No? I spent
Okay.
it even before. It wasn't large amounts, maybe 6-7 grand was in there, the max.
Probably went towards your legal fees.
Yeah, yeah, legal fees and
Yeah, that happens. Most of the time, it really does. There's an old saying: there are no retirement homes for drug dealers, and that you don't see that all of the old retired. The truth of the matter is there is a retirement home for drug dealers, but it's called prison. That's where most of them end up. But in your country, obviously, the system is a little different. Truthfully, in the United States, my brother, you would have done so much time for what they caught you doing. I mean, you would.
Chris Lord, Kiss Freak. We were talking about that earlier, how the way that you had to do your sentence, we were talking about how there's so much more chance for, a rehabilitated human being, the way they had you serve out your sentence. And I wish we had something that was more rehabilitative here. Instead of it's just push you in there and just lock you up, throw away the key, and just their whole life so that there's nothing to come back to. No redemption, no shot at redemption. Just bye-bye. And it's criminal. That's what's criminal to me.
Mhm.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
let you know that we had talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Would have been doing so much time.
Yeah.
The state I live in, I promise you would minimum you're going to do 4, but more realistic is somewhere between 4 and 12. So
Did I go back?
you dodged a bullet. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
You dodged a real bullet.
No, you're
And
good.
fortunately, it sounds like your daughter came along at the perfect time. I heard for you that you can't be you can't see her on a more regular basis, but I guess that one of the
Sorry to hear
things
that.
about the getting convicted, doing things that there are certain things that follow you for the rest of your life. So 13 years ago was the conviction, correct?
Yes.
And hey, nothing since, right? So and now you're in
I'm working. I got a great job. I'm into mining and driving those huge trucks.
Yes, I remember.
I sent you
some of those
pictures. Yeah.
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 For those of you who don't know, I mean, we're talking about trucks the size that you could put trucks in the back of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like in the
probably
dump
the size of my house.
several. Yeah, these things are really, really large. They're the kind of things that little boys freak out when they see.
And like I just referred to mouse. Yeah, that's one thing I wouldn't have had if I kept dealing.
Yeah.
I managed to buy my own house. I got the vehicles I need.
In your name.
In my name, yes, not in a friend's name or anything. Yeah.
I'm
Family
not having to
member,
do all
yeah.
of those things that that so often happen with drug dealers. Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it is, but the fact that that you felt the need to let people on the boat know exactly what your past is, I think is, you're a stand-up cat. That's for real. It's not an easy thing. Just being in front of a camera is not an easy thing, but to come in here and talk about what you did, and I think the one thing that you got going for you is that a crowd that's going to be that's going to look down their nose at you. All of us have got a past that that we've done things that we're not proud of. I think it's important that you work on forgiving yourself. It's I joke about my past when I talk about it, and I'll laugh about things, and it's a defense mechanism that I think everybody has. But when the lights are off and there's nobody around,
So
I'm not.
the whole interview, I was laughing and giggling. That's just me being nervous.
And something. It's the way most people deal when there are things from your past that are painful. After having been in prison for the number of years that I have, when someone would get stabbed, I mean, we saw murders. This was something that happened regularly, and the amount of laughter that happened afterwards, and the amount of gallows humor that happened afterwards. Nobody thinks these things are funny, but it's that, or you break down and you cry, when you have to think back. I asked some questions that are uncomfortable. The fact that these girls were getting supplied by you and literally tossing their life away is not something that can be easy to look back on. So no one's judging you for that, but it's a courageous thing to come on here and to tell your story, and it's going to get more people to do the same. And I think that that's awesome. Really, tune in and start looking at the stuff that we talk about when it's, in terms of forgiving yourself, because for everybody involved, whether it's drugs, no matter what it is in your past, if you carry that guilt around as baggage, then you're never living the best life. You're never going to get, the happiness that you're supposed to have, because that kind of baggage drags a person down. It really does. So thanks again. Appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, and before we go, I gotta do this. To every drug addict out there, I'm sorry for my part in enabling you.
Oh my God.
I had to do this. That's what I told you when I first contacted you.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
Well, it's a big step, my man. It really is. And there's the nice thing is there are a lot of people here that spent literally, between all of us right now that are watching on the boat, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars that have been spent on drugs. And whether you were the drug dealer or whether you just represent the drug dealer, I think it's awesome to hear somebody say that. It's not something that you're going to hear ever uttered any place other than the boat. And I think that that's awesome. I think that's really beautiful stuff, Chris. I appreciate you coming on here and doing this. And I look forward to seeing you each and every time we have a live feed in the comment.
Wow. I got
Wow.
with that. I sure did.
This is why I glue eyelashes on so I don't cry. Today.
Oh, I was like blubbery crying. I had to take myself off camera for a second. Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Lord Kiss Freak, and thank you for giving me that link so that I could share this. This was wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's also something to look at. We have just above us, just north of us, we have an example of a way to keep from ruining somebody's life over a not good decision. Because, we're humans and we're prone to making those, and I just hate that our system is just such a steamrolling decimator of lives for making bad choices when, you know, when all we might need is just a little crack in a door over here to see a different way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wow.
you teared up too. That
We're all sniffles and tears.
didn't know I needed to
I
like
teared up a little bit
bring
myself.
clean. Wow.
Yeah.
I just,
I know that this happened 2 years ago, but I do have to say, Lord Kiss Freak, thank you for your bravery, for sharing it and sharing it so publicly. It's refreshing and it helps a lot. So thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
I'm glad it's your first and only drug offense. I mean, it shows that you can learn and come out
Yes.
the other
And that
side.
you didn't have to keep going down that
Yeah,
path.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that helps me too because I didn't relapse after I went to rehab, you know, and sometimes I feel like I missed out on a part of recovery. But no,
Mm-mm.
I'm not alone. I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's another takeaway from me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I am curious though. There was a fish tank in the background and it was huge and it was swimming around. What was it? Like what kind of fish was it?
I almost thought I was seeing an axolotl at times,
I
but
had
I know it
Oscars
was
and it almost looked like an albino Oscar to me. So that's why I'm curious.
Oscar. Oscar. Oh, that's a question mark.
Yeah.
Um,
But
eh, now,
goldfish.
Fish. Look at that.
My Lord.
Wow.
well, oh, so and Lord
Cujo the
Cujo
goldfish.
the goldfish. Get yours to merch. Carol, so we need Cujo the goldfish. We need a shirt that says the turkey leg gang. Um,
Yes,
you
we
know,
do.
we need
Yeah.
one that says Hobbit Rage. Um, and we need to just sell all of these shirt cups, whatever. Um, it started out orange but turned white after a while. Oh.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So now it's been 2 years since then, is that right? So you're still not
Yeah.
allowed to come into the US, I'm assuming. So has your daughter come to visit you? And I know that you said that you talked to her so over FaceTime. Um
He had mentioned that he was talking to her between meetings every day too, between this one and
yeah,
going to the
that's
lifeboat. So it's still an everyday thing.
yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome. That's
I've
awesome.
Sorry
been
about
here
that,
the whole
Cosmic. I
time. I've
just didn't
just
know if you were
been
going to come back or not. I
No, I've been here
apologize.
the whole time. I just
Oh, okay.
there's been noise in the background. I didn't want to interrupt anything. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry
And
about that.
I just wanted to say, Lord, that was an amazing, inspirational story. And the end bit, there are other bits throughout it that had me a bit teary, but the end bit, oh my God, thank you. I'm not that sort of addict, but you know, my life has been affected by addiction, so I really appreciate it, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's many out there who really appreciate it too. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
not something I've really heard before, so it was a bit,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for real. For
yeah,
real.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
appreciate it.
Yes.
That's
My
all.
last use is still so, in the scheme of things, my last use is still so recent. And it hit me so hard, I think, because that was what I used last. So
Wow.
it was like an apology from somebody that I needed the apology from, but it came from somebody even better. So, oh my God.
Love you,
Just thank
Stasha.
you. Just thank you. Oh,
Wow.
no. I'm so grateful that I have met all of you. And it's just, the universe works in such funny ways.
It
In
does.
such funny ways, I tell you.
you know, it I have never, in some ways, sometimes things come up and I feel like such a normie, even though I'm not really a normie, but when it comes to this, I really am kind of clueless. And it just it gives a humanity to it that, I mean, I I don't want to say that I wouldn't have ever given to it, but it would have just never hit me in that way, you know? Like it's what I'm learning from all of you and from this is that it even though I knew nobody wakes up and one day or grows up and says, I want to grow up and be this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Um, it shows the side that just I never I never thought of. You know what I mean? Like I never I just never thought of,
Mhm.
you know? And like the personal side of it and how it is affected and like just not even being able to come to this state, even though it is just your daughter.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that is
sorry about
that
that.
is hard.
Dadgummit. That's
And
rough.
yeah, and I'm not trying to drag up anything. It's just, you see like even from that, from the girls to the people to, all of those things, it's you think it's just one thing, like I used to. I used to think it was just like, I don't know, one person in a car somewhere with something, I never really seen how far reaching it
Mhm.
can be. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes I feel so stupid. Like,
No,
like
no.
I
You
mean,
can't know
no,
what you've never experienced. There's
yeah.
no
Exactly.
reference.
Well, but
Yeah, there's no reference there.
yeah, and then there's not. And then to see something like this and just how amazing, you know, I think that apology at the end was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
100 Yes,
Like,
for
really, I
real.
can't
Hello,
think of
me.
anything more beautiful. And who would
Hey,
have ever thought? Hi, Henny.
Annie, we just watched Captain Tommy Scoville's interview of Lord Kiss Freak. We were just getting to know one of our own, and it was
Yeah,
pretty remarkable.
it was amazing. Yeah, if you've not watched it,
Yes.
go watch it. That is a good watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad you sent me that link.
Mhm.
Lord
Yeah,
Kiss Freak. You.
that was amazing.
It was amazing.
I'm still
What a
soaking it in. Sorry, it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's a
100%.
lot, and I wouldn't say it's too much. It's just wow, just wow, a lot. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
well, it's a
and
lot different when you actually interact with the person. When someone that you've never interacted with at all,
Yeah.
there's a sort of a
Yeah.
bit of a disconnection. So,
mhm,
Then I try
that
and
was
message as soon as I can. As soon as he pops in my head, it's like I'm messaging him on Facebook. So it felt so personal, that apology. And it wasn't even from him that I needed it, but I needed that apology and it fixed it. Can't say
Yeah.
fixed it, but I feel
yeah,
better. I
yeah,
feel
Yeah,
better.
I do too. I mean, I wasn't even that heavy of a drug user. All the drugs that I ever did, I did because I was drinking, and it just happened to be there. And my judgment was there was that lapse in judgment that drinking helps you have.
Yes.
yeah,
But I feel like I got set free from that.
Right? Yeah.
yeah,
It's amazing what that can do sometimes.
I think he's an amazing example of how people can heal. People
Yeah,
can work on forgiving themselves. They are
yeah,
human,
yeah,
there's so many
yeah.
factors that even Misha had said earlier, there's so many factors that people take out because criminal is there. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And that is heartbreaking to me. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it is also so warming to then immediately also have Chris's story and everything that he had to say. Oh my God. Wow.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and at the bottom of it all, I think it's it's a human story,
Yes.
right? It's a human. Irrespective of what we do, the bad decisions we make, the things that we do to our bodies and ourselves, it's a human, you know.
Well,
Human
but
story.
just as an example, stress. I've only recently, like in the last couple of years, developed psoriasis. Well, I think I've always had a version of it on my scalp.
Yeah.
But when I get stressed, and I've been pretty stressed the last, especially
Yes,
the
you
last
have.
week.
Mhm.
Yes, you have.
But it's popped out on my face, and that's a new development, like on my chin. And then the more stressed I get, the more it spreads out all over my face. I've got the creams, and Chris, okay. Although I like coarse,
Okay.
it's fun.
This is Michael.
Chris.
I might be back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for saying that, Chris. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so now it's popped out on my face, and my lips are starting to get all dry, and now it's spreading to places it's never been before because that's the level of stress that I'm under. And I've never had it on my arms before, and now and this morning it's popped up on my arms, and I know it's not an allergic reaction because it's not itchy, it's just annoying and
Mhm.
painful. So I know it's definitely psoriasis, and I've never had it on my arms before, so I don't think I've ever really,
And it makes
like, I've been
yeah,
stressed before, but my immune system's down as well. But but that's where, how emotions can affect your body. Like,
yes. Yes.
you know,
You know, this is probably TMI, but after my brother beat me up in my house in front of my girl mom and my husband, if you haven't seen that, um, I can put a link, maybe,
really is
maybe.
Christmas.
But
Yeah. All the Chris.
I could not poop for a month.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Yep.
A whole month. And then it took something like 4 to 6 months for my bowels to completely straighten out. It
Mhm.
was terrible.
They say that the bowel system is your second brain. It reacts to everything.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, anxiety is where my stomach and bowel system is affected. So I have the opposite reaction to you, Carol, TMI.
All right. So we've got the Steves and the Chris's going neck and neck.
Yeah, they're just taking over. Taking over.
See, you
Let
can
me
have
know.
another month. Yeah, but yeah, so that's the reason I'm not on camera today because I got all this. Well, not very much anyway. Well, I just had to put all this cream all over my face, so I'm so shiny.
I'm thinking of the crab song.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm like because he's Kiwi.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from the Flight of the Conchords, so Jermaine.
The crab from Moana, sorry. I should
That's what I'm
explain
talking.
further.
I know exactly what you're talking about because that's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, it used to be my daughter and I used to watch it like almost every night to help us go to sleep.
Wow.
So I love the
Okay.
music. Yeah. So and the end I loved, that's how my grandma used to greet me. The touching of the noses.
Mhm.
Oh, how cute.
Like,
It's a traditional Maori greeting.
Okay.
Aw.
Yeah. So
Aw.
well, if you like the
Nice.
person, if not, we don't do that because otherwise, I don't really like my face that close to people. So, especially now.
Well, what do you guys think? Have we had a meeting?
I feel like I have.
I feel like I have
I've done the
too.
crying part.
I feel like I've had a whole weekend of meetings. Like I'm good. I'm set for a while, but I'm still gonna be here. But
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned that, Henny, or someone has. Like, eventually I'll read it because I
Mhm.
can't do audiobooks because I don't have the attention span, or I'll fall asleep. But
yeah,
yeah,
really does. Oh,
Or even
Yeah.
just even without trauma, you know, your
Mhm.
body just carries stuff, you know. It just
Oh my
forget of
God.
it. And I bruise easy, so you know, I walk past a table, I will bump into the table or a bench. I can't walk through a door. I can't get in the car without knocking my head. I am clumsy as heck. I was actually looking through my Facebook memories just for a light moment at the end of the meeting, and I've been looking through my Facebook memories over the last few weeks. And the amount of times, you know, even before like I started drinking again, because that wasn't until like I was about 33. Because I stopped drinking when I was 18. But where the amount of times I've seen messages, because I write like, I'm an open book. I write whenever I fall over, I hurt myself on Facebook. One, it's a good memory for me, just to keep record. I've noticed it happens a lot. I fall over all the time, and I've been doing it ever since I started, well, my whole life, but ever since I started on Facebook. There was one from 2009. And it just and it says like there's a Douglas Adams quote: "The way of not hitting the ground or learning to fly is to hit the ground and miss."
Oh,
I haven't learned that yet. I'm still getting there. One day I'll get there. So yeah, but yeah, I've had a meeting.
Yes.
So
well, Christy, do you mind leading us in some box breathing, or and if you want to, anything else you want to do from there, I'll leave that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Let me hold on. That was Michael is headed to Anchorage, which is about 3.5 hours away from where he's at in Kenai.
Okay.
And then he's got to fly out tomorrow. So he was the one that called, which is why I had to hop off
Yeah, no problem.
the call so fast. And I ended up missing him.
Oh,
So well, it's okay. It's probably where he's at. So yeah, let's do some box breathing and let's do a little meditation at the end.
okay.
So we'll do 3 box breaths. So we'll breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then release till all of the air is out of your lungs. We'll do that 3 times. I'll count it down for you, and then we'll do a meditation. And at the end of the meditation, I'll just say, when you're ready, open your eyes. All right. So go ahead and close your eyes and step into your heart space, either placing your hand on your heart or just imagining a little version of yourself walking into your heart as if it were a room, opening the door and sitting in all of that love. All right, go ahead and breathe in for a count of 4. Hold and exhale. And again, breathe in. Hold and exhale. Last one, breathe in. Hold and exhale. I want you to just imagine your feet planted firmly on the ground in a place that you love, whether that be a beach, a prairie, in the mountains, wherever that might be. And I want you to imagine from the bottoms of your feet, roots growing down through the soil, down through the earth, into the center of the hot, molten lava core of the earth. And then I want you to start at the top of your head, imagining all of the stress and anxiety and frustration that you feel, leaving your body, going down towards your feet into these roots, down to your eyes, down to your mouth, feeling all of that stress and anxiety going down into the center of the earth, down to your chin, through your throat. All of those things that you want to say but you can't, all of those leaving your body. down to your shoulder, down to your chest, to your elbows, down to your fingertips, gathering all of that unnecessary stress and shoving it down to those roots to the center of the earth, down to your belly button, down to your knees, down to your ankles, and down to your feet. And all of that stress, negativity, and things that no longer serve you, traveling through the earth, through those roots, down to the corner, into the core, that hot molten lava to be burned up. And sit for a moment, knowing that all of that stress and anxiety that no longer benefits you is getting burned up, never to come back up again, at least for this day. And now I want you to imagine all of the beautiful strength going down through those roots to replenish your body with positive things, things that will help you to grow and expand and become strong. All of the love from Mother Earth, the universe, God, however you see it, coming up through those roots, refilling your body up through the bottoms of your feet, to your ankles, to your knees, to your belly button, feeling yourself getting stronger, more confident, up to your belly button, to your fingertips, to your elbows, feeling the necessary nutrients, filling your body, to your shoulders, to your throat, to your eyes, and out the top of your head, surrounding you. Sit for a moment, knowing that all things that do not serve you and are not beneficial to you are gone, and you have replenished your body with the love from the earth, the universe, or God, however that looks for you. Soak it in, and when you are ready, open your eyes.
Yay.
All right, take a moment to take it all off.
You are still there.
We're about
All right.
You got quiet.
That was lovely. I can't do the visualizations, but I just like listen to the voice.
I almost dropped my phone this time. I felt my hand slipping, and then the wee man, I mute myself every time you start the box breathing now, because every time he's like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" I'm like, "Oh my God, please, please." So this time he was on like my phone, where I could feel it kind of tilting in my hand, and I was like, "Okay, I'm waiting for Rowan to kick in." It was perfect timing. I'm like, "Oh, there we go. Grab the phone. Grab the phone."
That's so funny because as soon as the meeting started this morning, well, 2 minutes before the meeting started, my mum rang, and then as the meeting started, my son came out of his room. He just wanted to go to the toilet. Though. He went straight back in, and then just as I was about to get up, because I was watching it on the couch, because I was like, I'm just need to get the energy to move from the couch to the computer, and also find my headphones. And then my fat mate came out of the room. I was just like, it's nobody's fault. It was just, it's morning time here. It's just time for everyone to get up. So it was just, I was like, everyone's got perfect timing.
Everybody's getting on your routine, apparently.
Yeah. So it's all fine, because normally this is the time everyone gets ready to go to work or whatever. So, it's all good.
Well, I hope you have a beautiful day. Rebecca, I'm so glad
Yes,
you're here.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
And Ben, that was really close to I did a meditation when I was trying to deal with the whole empath thing. That's a really good meditation for dealing with that type of thing.
Yes.
So, Sorry I'm not very responsive in chat. I can't type with my right hand, and my left hand apparently doesn't like me typing.
She'll turn into me, the typo queen.
Yeah. I was trying
Rebecca,
to, sorry.
oh, I was going to say, to answer your question, yes, the meetings are every day at 3:40 Central Time. So that's 4:40 Eastern, and it would be 2:40 Mountain and 1:40 Pacific. And I have no idea what time it is in Canada.
Well, I'm 6:30 right now, so 4:40 for me
So
in Quebec.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
7:40 a.m. in Australia. Well, in Queensland, Australia. I think it's 8:40 in New South Wales time. If
Okay.
any Australians are in here.
There
These
you
happen
go.
7 days a week, Rebecca, even holidays.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Ben, it's interesting. I feel like I am privileged to know what you look like without the makeup. Yes. Well, I still have my eyelashes.
Maybe you shouldn't have with the crying, but
It's like if I glue on my eyelashes, I can't cry because otherwise they're like
So yeah,
hanging down.
Rebecca, that's
Yeah,
3:40. Rebecca, that's 3:40 your time.
yes.
3:40.
I'm Central
I
Time.
actually put my I put my eyelashes on so I don't rub my eyes because otherwise I get like they sort of eyes.
Okay.
Because I touch them and like, oh, that's right, they'll come off. So,
Now I
anyway.
do like the eyelash look, but it is also so I don't get too
You
emotional.
too, Rebecca.
All right. I will see you all later. Have a
See you.
good night,
Thank you.
everyone. Take care.
Yeah, I shall go too. I've got to try and do some cleaning, which will probably unlikely to happen. I'll probably just go sit on the couch until I get some energy to try and wash my hair. It's really hard left-handed.
Thank you, Henny.
Mm-hmm.
If you're left-handed, I don't know.
You too, Chris.
If you're right-handed, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, and thank you, Lord Kids Freak, for sharing.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Chris.
We shall,
Right.
Ben. Let's all go spread some joy. That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Peace out, everyone.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Hi, you guys. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. It's never a meeting without you. And hope to see you next meeting. And until then, peace, y'all.